TV news, I'm Nat Lertsema, but don't get emotionally attached, I'm not staying. I'm only here to ease you gently into the rambunctious world of video games with Platform32. Yes, they might look a bit scruffy and pale, have problems conversing with women and maintaining eye contact, but in the video game world, they are gods, or slightly more respected than in real life. So take it away, guys.
Welcome one and all to another TV news takeover from Platform32. That's right, we've sacked off all that boring music and movie news to pump so much video gaming related content into your eyes and ears that it will fill your head to the brim and then come shooting out of your nose and go all over the walls and the carpet. Ooh, messy. Coming up in today's show, Blacklight Tango Down for the PS3 goes under the reviewer scope. That's a special microscope that reviews stuff, just in case you didn't know. We gatecrash the exclusive Call of Duty Black Ops launch event in London and bother some famous folk. But before all that, someone important has something to say.
I'm Paul Wedgewood, I'm the CEO of Splash Damage and the game director on Brink, and you're watching Platform32.
At this year's Eurogamer Expo, there were tons of unreleased games on show for the public to have a bash on. One of the games which drew the biggest crowds and created the longest queues was Brink, a first-person shooter from Splash Damage and Bethesda that is trying to break the shooter mould and revolutionise the FPS genre. But come on, they all say that, don't they? In one of the few quiet moments of the expo, when we weren't running around playing games, we managed to grab an exclusive interview with the CEO of Splash Damage and Brink's game director, Paul Wedgewood. So, come on Paul, why are people getting so excited? What's Brink all about and why is it going to be so awesome?
Brink, you know, it's a brand new shooter from Splash Damage, and I think we're probably best known, certainly on the PC, for our work on games like Wolfenstein, Enemy Territory Quake Wars, and our contributions to Doom 3 with id Software. But Brink is a brand new title, it's a brand new universe. The game takes place in 2045, but at its heart, it's absolutely a shooter. It's about running and shooting at other people, be they players or AI. As far as the game is concerned, because we'd made shooters for such a long time beforehand, the first thing we really wanted to improve was the movement system. You know, shooters have for a long time suffered from these kind of, you know, artificial constraints. Like, you know, if you walk up to a table, you get stuck on it, when in real life you would just step over it, or you'd run up and over a chair, or you'd slide under a table if you're in combat, or climb over a 3-foot wall. And in shooters, you're typically unable to do that unless the level designers put the right entity there and made it, you know, given you permission. And we wanted to do away with all of those artificial and frustrating constraints. So we created a new system that's called SMART. And SMART stands for Smooth Movement Across Random Terrain. And the idea is really straightforward. When you hold your SMART button down, it allows you to vault and mantle and slide and step up and jump up onto surfaces, to climb up over containers, to jump between small gaps. And really it's about, as its, you know, technical designer Aubrey Hesselgren says in our videos, it's about movement and shooting simultaneously. It's all procedural, there are no canned animations that take over control from you or anything, but it means that having removed all of those constraints, you can now focus on the job at hand, which is usually shooting at moving targets.
Smart certainly sounds like a great inclusion to the game and a natural progression to the way FPS games are controlled. In fact, I don't know why it hasn't been done before. Another FPS game which features parkour style movement is Mirror's Edge, which looked great but was a bit fiddly to control and due to this received mediocre reviews. How does Brink's smart system compare? Better or worse? Better or worse?
I think probably the system that we've implemented, although it's a completely different genre, is most closely matched to something like Assassin's Creed 2, where the idea is one of freedom of movement, of being able to get from here to there and doing the things that you could do intuitively in real life. You don't have to think about where your legs and arms are when you're climbing over a chair or a table and work out the steps to involve it. So it's counterintuitive to make you hit X, then Y, then Z, then push up, then push down on your trigger. But you do want to be able to control where you're looking the entire time, so that's the system that we've implemented in Brink.
Ah, definitely better then. Sweet! Don't go anywhere folks, we'll be back with more Paul Wedgewood in just a jiffy. Blacklight Tango Down created a huge buzz before its launch on the Xbox Live Arcade in July with its promise of AAA gameplay for a low budget price. But when it finally launched, it created quite a split amongst gamers. Although it sold over 100,000 copies in the first 3 weeks on Xbox Live, it quickly became the Marmite of downloadable games. Some loved it, others hated it. At first glance, the game was a confusing FPS which chucked you in at the deep end with no instructions and said, "Get on with it!" The lobby system was frustrating and often had you waiting for an age before being able to join a game. Look past the faults though and there was a great little FPS which offered tight controls, detailed customization and addictive fast-paced gameplay lifted straight from the Call of Duty book of shooters. Controversy followed the game though, and PlayStation users were victims of a massively delayed release, although they should really be used to these things now, what with Gran Turismo 5 and everything, and understandably expectant, excited gamers got a little wound up that they couldn't enjoy the thrills of future warfare on their chosen system. Thankfully for everyone, and I'm guessing especially for Zombies Facebook mods who had to put up with months of "is it ready yet?", Blacklight Tango Down is finally here, and the developers have added some exclusive extras and tweaks to the PS3 version to say sorry for the wait. For people unaware of the game, Blacklight Tango Down is an old school stroke new school shooter. What do I mean by that? Well, it has that classic old school clan shooter style and feel mixed in with the fast-paced action and character customization of the newer iterations of the Call of Duty series. You take on the role of an unnamed soldier fighting alongside either the Blacklight team or their enemies the Order in a futuristic war set in a run-down, decaying city. Being the future and all, you're kitted out with some big futuristic weapons and a suit of armour which comes complete with a hyper-reality visor, also known as a HRV. It's this visor which adds the unique gameplay element to Blacklight, enabling you to pinpoint your enemy's position at the press of a button. Be warned though, you can't shoot while in HRV, so be careful when you use it, otherwise you can easily be caught with your HRV-shaped pants down. The HRV is an awesome addition to the game. It keeps the action fast-paced, helps eliminate camping, and adds an added tactical element to the game, especially if you are working closely with a team where you can rotate spotting and shooting duties with your mates. With Blacklight you can play solo online and have a great action-packed time, but get into the teamwork aspect and the experience is much richer and infinitely more rewarding. Stay tuned for more future warfare coming up later in the show. Coming up after the break, we shove a rubbish microphone in the direction of celebrities' mouths in the hope that words come out when we visit the Call of Duty Black Ops launch event, and our verdict on the PS3 version of Blacklight Tango Down rears its pretty little face. See you in a minute. Or two. It took me ages to wash the smell off my hands. Oh, hi, sorry, didn't expect to see you back so soon. We've got the second part of our exclusive interview with Paul Wedgewood coming up, where he goes into more detail about the parkour paradise that is Brink. The Blacklight Tango Down review reaches its conclusion. Is it good? Is it bad? Find out in a few minutes. But first, we speak to Goldie at the launch party for COD Blops. That's what the cool kids are calling Call of Duty Black Ops, you know. Over to me, getting off a tank. Hi, I'm Ian Higton from Platform 32, and I've just popped along in my tank to possibly the biggest gaming event ever. It's the Call of Duty Black Ops launch. But who needs tanks? Tanks are a bit rubbish. Let's go inside, check out the game, and see if we can speak to some celebrities. That's right, Activision and Microsoft went all out for the UK launch of Call of Duty Black Ops, hosting the event at none other than London's most famous derelict power station, Battersea Power Station. Illuminated by gigantic projections of missiles, gun turrets and sweeping helicopters, the exclusive event was attended by some of the UK's biggest celebrities. Oh look, there's the girls from The Only Way is Essex. Treyarch, the developers of this new instalment of the Call of Duty franchise, have always stood in the shadow of Infinity Ward, the developers behind the Modern Warfare versions of COD, who recently had a controversial split with publisher Activision. So it's not really surprising that the company threw everything at making the launch as big an event as possible. Coming up, we speak to celebrity joypad junkies including Goldie and Sophie Ellis-Bextor. But first, I stood really close to someone else's interview and managed to overhear Activision UK Managing Director Andrew Brown say this about the game.
I think we've re-established what the genre is for first-person shooters. I think the multiplayer particularly is definitely different. We've had some new features in this year with the wager matches, which is really going to revolutionise that whole play. But it's a particularly intense and in-depth experience, and I just think people are going to really enjoy it.
Sweet! That's got to be the best interview I've never done, or something. Next up in our Celebrity Pester Fest, the musical legend Goldie.
Looking forward to Black Ops?
I am, mate, yeah. After getting wiped out by an 8-year-old from Texas every time, I need something different now.
Yeah, really?
So, I mean, Goldicus 999, guys, if you're out there.
Yeah, that's your game.
That's me, yeah, with a K. Yeah, so
with a K. So we'll add you up and try and...
Yeah, try and hit me up, man. Yeah, oh, God, yeah. I was out there, I was playing with Chance, one of the game developers last year. Obviously another company, but those guys are ridiculous. I just play for fun now. Good banter.
Yeah. So, what's your best kill streak?
Oh, my best kill streak, 8. Sorry, yeah, that's it. And
yeah.
I've only ever done it once.
So you've never managed to get a nuclear warhead or anything like that?
No, I'm not. You know, I'm probably only my second prestige, probably, and you know, dying aimlessly in an alleyway, shot in somewhere in some favela in Brazil. But I do love the game. It's a good entertainment, good fun.
If Treyarch offered to get you to do a soundtrack for the game, would you do it?
Well, I would do, but I've never really approached me. But I think the label would be able to handle that very well, and I think our music is very kind of high energy anyway, in that kind of sense. I think it'd be a really good thing. It'd be good to see what Treyarch have done, because I've never really followed many of their developments, but I think it's good to see what there's big anticipation with this game.
There sure is, Goldie. There sure is. Anyway, I've got to say it was a real pleasure speaking to someone as famous as Goldie. However, when I tried to add him on Xbox Live, it turned out his friends list was full. Denied. Stay tuned, there's plenty more celebrity bothering coming up when I find out that Sophie Ellis-Bextor doesn't like puns, and we hear Little Chris's Call of Duty Tip of the Day. Welcome back to part 2 of our Blacklight Tango Down review. Let's find out what else is included in the game. Add to the mix endless weapon and character customization, 70 XP levels to work your way through, cool weapon tags which hang from your gun and alter your stats, and imaginative twists on existing weaponry, including the awesome digital flash and smoke grenades which interfere with your HRV, and what you get for your cash is an FPS packed to bursting with cool original content and addictive gameplay which is heads above other downloadable offerings on the PSN. Be warned though, this shooter is pretty much online only, although you can play solo on Black Ops, the small campaign mode which is included with the game. It can be played with up to 4 people as a co-op campaign, but it's pretty shallow and seems to be basic filler material thrown in just to tick the campaign checkbox in the what to put in a game instruction manual. To be honest, I wouldn't recommend the game for purely offline gamers. There just isn't enough in Black Ops to keep your attention for long. The online action for up to 16 players is where it's at with this game, and what? Wow, did you see that? Let's see that again in slow-mo. On your head, son! Bouncy, bouncy, grenade physics win! Alright. So, what's new for the PSN version then? Well, along with the update that was given to the XBLA and PC users, which among other things increased spawning invincibility time to combat the frustrating spawn campers who plagued the team deathmatches, this new version has some great additions which pretty much make the PSN rendition the definitive version of the game, and the one you should be forking your hard-earned pennies on if you are lucky enough to own both consoles. First up is the new Join in Progress feature, which makes searching for and joining games so much quicker than on the Xbox. There are still some savagely long loading times hanging around though, but in general getting into a match with your mates is much less of a lengthy process than before, which is nice because I hate waiting. Also whacked onto the existing 12 is a new map exclusive to the PSN called Crossover. It's a cool multi-leveled map which is great fun to play, mixing close combat action for those on the ground with some great spots for snipers up on the top walkways. It's a very cool addition to the existing maps and it packs in even more value to the $9.99 asking price. The PS3 isn't exactly drowning in FPSs like the Xbox is, so when one comes along that is as well produced as Blacklight and is only a fraction of the price of a normal retail game, online shooter fans would be mad to miss out on snapping it up. Blacklight has little to offer anyone who's not a fan of relentless bullet battles, but for those who are, I would definitely recommend the PSN version. Zombie have done what a lot of developers forget to do nowadays, listen to the fan base, and by doing so they have tightened up the game and given the fans exactly what they want and improved the Tango Down experience tenfold. Now all they need to do is update the PC and Xbox Live versions. Excuse me while I run off to post that on Zombie's Facebook wall. Well, that's the end of another Platform 32 special. Thanks for watching and we'll see you again soon. Only joking! There's loads more stuff coming up in part 3, including the finale of our Paul Wedgewood interview and part 2 of our celebrity stalking Codblops feature. And it's all on the other side of this! Howdy partners! Welcome to the final part of the Platform 32 special on TV News. Coming up, I get laughed at by Sophie Ellis-Bextor and her husband Richard Jones at the Codblops launch party, and although it looks like I took it quite well at the time, I cried for hours when I got home. But before that, here's the final part of our Brink feature. Welcome back, Brink fans. Stand by for more info straight from the mouth of Paul Wedgewood. Visually, Brink stands out amongst other games of its genre thanks to its bright visuals and unique character design, creating a cool, gritty comic book style. What's the story behind the look and atmosphere of the game?
So the vision in my head was one of complete realism, that we'd build this huge floating city and it would be entirely realistic and that would be its function. Then we hired this great art director, his name's Olivier Leonardi. He was the art director behind Prince of Persia, Rainbow Six Vegas, and the very first thing he said is this should be stylistic, this should be hyper-realistic, I want to exaggerate all the proportions on characters and I want to put the colour back in shooters. And I was like, you're insane, because the whole industry has been making shooters in sepia for 10 years. That's what we do. If you want something to be realistic, we desaturate it. If we wanted to make a shooter compelling, it would be in a Siberian base or a North African airfield or on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Atlantic, and that was the limit of what we did. But the reason that I was compelled by the setting when I started to think about where a great place to put a game would be is that I haven't seen floating cities in games or movies. Obviously ones that float in the sky, but not the idea of a green, sustainable floating city at sea. Because this is a world you've never seen before, Olivier reasoned that players don't have any expectations when they arrive, so we can play with things a little bit. We can use the environment as a kind of big, major third character to tell a backstory about the game. And so Olivier pushed hard for this art direction, and he started doing, working with his team, people like Tim Appleby, our lead character artist, who was responsible for Shepard and the lead aliens in Mass Effect, and people like Aaron Hoffman, our lead environment artist, and our concept artist, Laurel and Georgi. They started all working together to come up with a vision for the game that would really set it aside from everything else, that would create something that was really cool.
Thanks, Paul. The game sounds truly amazing. So the big question is, when can we finally get our hands on Brink in the comfort of our own homes?
Brink is scheduled for release on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and PC, of course, in spring 2011.
Okay, so I've just interviewed Paul Wedgewood and I really, really want to play Brink now. But if you look over there, there's like a 2-hour queue to play it. I'm from Platform 32, I'm press, I should be able to play it right now, so, you know, I'm just going to skip the barrier. What's the worst that can happen, eh? So if I hand the microphone to my camera op, Bruce here. Thank you, Bruce.
Well, you'll be pleased to know that after a wait of approximately 2 hours and 8 minutes, I finally got to try the game and tested out the smart system for myself in a team objective match. And to be honest, it worked amazingly well. Holding down the smart button and running at obstacles only to vault over them automatically not only feels instinctive and creates a great flow to the game, but it also looks cool as hell. Jumping over a high wall and landing down behind your opponent before popping him in the head is so smooth and easy that every kill makes you feel like an awesome acrobatic tough guy. Parkour, blimey, Brink is going to be an immense game. Welcome back to the Frontline Marines. The celebrities at the Call of Duty Black Ops launch event kept coming, and next on my list for interrogation was Rock School winner turned TV presenter Lil Chris. Lil Chris. Lil Chris. Little Chris.
Yeah, I'm quite good on COD. I'm not gonna lie. Probably I'm 1,400,000 in the world.
Ah, fair play.
Which is not bad, huh?
What's your best kill streak?
Best kill streak? Oh, it's only 22, but...
That's like, what, 3 short of a nuke?
Yeah, that's 3, yeah, but I go for the sort of tactical approach where I go for, I have emergency airdrop, Predator missile, Harrier, because I see that gets me more kills in the match and gets me higher up the tables in the match than it does. Then I get a win streak rather than a kill streak.
I got the AC-130, the big plane, but I can never get
it out.
to it. So,
exactly. So go for the smaller kill streaks. You get them straight out there, mate, and you'll be winning all the matches.
And that's Little Chris's Call of Duty tip of the day.
That's my tip of the day, yeah, mate.
Thanks, Chris. I'll be sure to try out your recipe for success next time I jump online. Now, my gaming friends, witness comedy genius as I speak to Sophie Ellis-Bextor and her husband Richard Jones. He's the bassist from The Feeling.
So you don't strike me as a video game fan, really.
Well, you've got two choices: either me that's really into it, or my husband who's with me that's really into it.
Are you really good at it? Is there going to be murder on the game's console?
Oh, I hate to ruin the pun, but that was terrible. Yeah.
Sorry.
You got groans from all areas there.
I'm good at doing that for some reason. So the fella is one of these your fella?
This is my husband,
This is
Richard.
your husband. So you're the gamer, are you?
I might be, yes.
So you've dragged an unwilling girlfriend along?
I've been to a few parties with shoes and clothes and things, and
so
when we were
turning
turning up and there were tanks and stuff, it's like, see, this is how it feels.
Fair play.
This is the flip side.
So you're an online gamer, or do you just play single player on your own?
I love the single player thing, and I tried the online thing, and then I realised that hours of my life were disappearing, because at least with the game there's a kind of finite amount of time. With online you can just disappear into it forever, but it is fun. It's very addictive.
So you've never been able to convince Sophie to get, team deathmatch, get her on your team and get in there?
I've tried. She likes reading books.
As game launches go, the Black Ops event has to be the biggest one I've ever seen. In fact, it's got to be the biggest the UK has ever seen, to be honest. But it all means nothing if the game's rubbish, right? Well, after getting back home and playing Black Ops for about 8 hours straight, I have to say that I absolutely love the game. The campaign is an awesome, thrilling ride, and somehow Treyarch have made the multiplayer feel fresh and exciting again after a weirdly dull effort from Modern Warfare 2. Plus, the RC bomb car has to be the coolest thing in any video game ever.
Mission accomplished. Good work.
Well, my friends, that's another P32 special done and done. I'm off to somehow try and erase the humiliating memories of being laughed at by famous people, but I'll be back soon with more video gaming news, reviews, previews, interviews and anything else that ends in news on TV News, which also ends in news. Don't forget to check out the P32 website, www.platform32.com, for all our latest videos, and make sure you pop along to the Facebook page and give it a right good liking. Links are on the website. Now over to someone who probably made derogatory gaming-related jokes at my expense during the intro to this show for news on this week's competition. Go win stuff!
It's time for today's competition, and we're getting into the festive spirit as we've mugged Santa and ram-raided his workshop to bring you some ace prizes for the whole family to enjoy. Just let me contain my excitement. There it is. As first up, courtesy of Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment, we have the newly released Toy Story 3. Yay! Rein it in, Nat. Rein it in. The toy box has been reopened, and Woody, Buzz and the gang are back. This time we see their owner Andy all grown up and leaving for college, leaving his loyal toys troubled about their uncertain future. There are plenty of exciting adventures, nail-biting scenarios and loads of new characters. It's a phenomenal film. And it's out on Blu-ray and DVD now. Plus, again, courtesy of Walt Disney Home Entertainment, we have newly released on Blu-ray the amazing magical Fantasia. A timeless masterpiece featuring a handful of animated segments set to classical music, including The Sorcerer's Apprentice, which features Mickey Mouse as an aspiring magician who oversteps his limits. It's an extravaganza of sight and sound. If you love films from the past, rather than the ones from the future, you'll love Holiday Inn, starring Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire. Courtesy of Universal Pictures UK, we have the colorised version newly released on DVD. Holiday Inn features the music of Irving Berlin, in which Crosby and Astaire portray former performing partners competing for the love of a dancer and singer played by Marjorie Reynolds. So if you want to win these festive films, then just answer the following question. In Toy Story 3, who voices the character of Woody? Is it A. Bruce Willis, B. Tom Hanks, or C. Jack Black? So if you know the answer to that question and fancy entering, then all you need to do is call 0800 466 1070. Our TV news competitions run from Monday till Sunday, 11 p.m. every week. Winners will be chosen when the line's closed and notified by telephone. You can also enter via our website, www.tvnewsonline.tv. Calls are free from a BT landline, but other networks and mobiles may be considerably higher. You need to be 18 years old to enter and get the bill payer's permission before making a call. For full terms and conditions, visit our website. Good luck. Thanks to Platform32 for a great show. I'll be back on Monday with a music special. Who doesn't like music, eh? Me. That's who. But maybe you do, so tune in if you do.